qué no os unís a los franciscanos y salváis sus almas? Si es que las tienen. Si se entromete, restadlo.
A ver, los evangelistas, Mateo, Marcos, Lucas, Juan. Padre, ¿podéis ayudarme? Creo que he olvidado los nombres.
César,
Carlos,
Manolo, Paco, Federico, Rodrigo, Felipe.
A ver, ¿quién hará de Jesucristo?
Te bautizaré y obtendrás la gloria y la paz en el cielo, de lo contrario sufrirás un tormento eterno en el infierno. En el nombre de Cristo todavía puedes salvar tu alma. Aprender la diferencia entre el cielo y el infierno. Pedirle perdón al Señor. Yo te bautizaré y obtendrás la gloria y la paz eterna en el cielo. De lo contrario sufrirás un tormento eterno en el infierno. ¿Me ha entendido bien?
¿Qué cristianos se lo man?
¿Van los cristianos al cielo?
Los buenos cristianos, sí.
Cachaguay, que se infierno, man.
¡Mándame al infierno! ¡Silencio! Esto es lo que os ocurrirá si desafiáis a los cristianos.
Technico 15, Chanta Pichainini, Abulki Chesta, Agudos Kardai Chesta. Technico 15, Chanta Pichainini Chesta, Agudos Kardai Chesta. Chanta Pichainini, Abulki Chesta.
¿Qué dicen?
Oh desprecio a vuestro Dios, desprecio vuestra codicia.
Agudos Kardai Chesta. Santa Vicentini, Agudos,
¡Que se callen! ¿Qué están diciendo, padre? ¡Su nombre! ¡No pisamos nunca! ¡Será olvidado!
Bueno, el autor.
All right, shalom, family. Oh, shoot, what's going on with this? All right, shalom, family, shalom. It's your brother Emmanuel. I actually did got up early for this, man. There was the Most High, really, honestly, because I had actually mentioned in the class before about this particular link that I have. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over that real quick. It's gonna be a short class, and then I have something for you at the end. It's a very powerful song because it's really the message that I'm pushing. And honestly, y'all are wondering what doctrine is. No doctrine, man. It's just simply I'm here to show love, and I mean scriptural love for my family, y'all brothers and sisters, you Hispanics and Native Indians. Okay, so this is going to be like maybe a 20-minute class, but I'm going to show you something that I left off right here, and I was trying to show you and talk to you guys about a link. So I found the link, and then I'm going to show you some pages to show y'all that these Phoenicians knew of this land. Okay, and this should be able to answer all of that crap that like, oh yeah, they were here first. No. And then some of the actual Toltecs, this may be able to answer some of that question too. I don't know much about that topic. I know some brethren that do, but I may be able to maybe assist. Then I'm gonna pause right where we left off, and I'll chime in with what I have. Okay, what was missing. All right, here we go. Oh, and by the way, let me read this real quick because I did put a video that was not part of the class, so let me just read it. Copyright disclaimer. Give me a second. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material in use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principle material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law. Okay, all right, that's for the actual scene. So thank you very much. That movie's called, I believe, I showed it in my other video. It's called The Rain Never Ends, or Never Ending Rain, something like that. It's a Spanish movie. Okay, here we go. Let me be quiet now. Y'all are criticizing Christians, and you're no different. You're no different. And this is why I'm going here, because I realize now, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm sorry to tell y'all, brothers and sisters, man. I know that some of y'all in camp, you guys are stuck in there right now, and you're like, oh man, these are our brethren. Yeah, probably a few are, but not all of them, bro. You can see in the doctrine that it's not the same. It's not the same spirit. Us Hispanics and natives, I think y'all understand where I'm coming from when we're talking about having things equal and not having to ask for, hey man, I know this for a fact, bro. I've had neighbors that would come over because my mom was on her own for a little bit after my dad passed, right? And I had neighbors that would come and just check on my mom. Hey, so because her name's, hey, you need this, you need that. Here, I made you something. Always looking out for her. Always. And our people did that. I had a neighbor, right? Unfortunately, our neighbors were Section 8, right? And they always had, there was always children there. And there was this kid that would always, get out with his diaper, man, and bring an egg over. I would cook him the egg. You see, this is how our people are. But you have a spirit. Hey, and I want to say something about that, and I didn't mention it. So just to let y'all know, okay, because in case you guys get emotional with me here in my channel, we bring facts, not emotions. So these neighbors, Section 8 neighbors, they happen to be so-called black, okay? And so there's no color issue with me. I have family that has I have all the variety that you want to talk about, all right? So it's not about that. It's the doctrine that was brought upon us from the white man and then now the black man. And both of them have a very similar spirit. Eugenics, eugenics, eugenics. Equal but separate. Spirit. And I think we need to call it for what it is. It is what it is, guys. So let's keep it real. It says, moreover, this is from the Geographical History of Africa. Okay, this is Leo Africanus. This is a black man that was born in Granada. All right, look, 1492 approximately. Okay, he was born in Granada. It says here, moreover, this part of the whole world is inhabited especially by 5 principal nations, to wit, by the people called Kafri or Kafetas. That is to say, lawless or lawless, I guess lawless, by the Abyssinians, the Egyptians, the Arabians, and the Africans or Moors. You hear that? Africans or Moors, properly so called, which last are of 2 kinds, namely white or tawny Moors. So you see, guys, I'm not lying. In Europe, they had light skin or dark Moors. And those were also Islamic practicing Moors and Jewish practicing Moors. Watch this. Namely white or tawny Moors and Negroes or blackamoors, of all which nations some are Gentiles, watch this, which worship idols. So not saying out of all these blackamoors and Negroes, watch what it says. Of all which nations some are Gentiles, which worship idols, others of the sect of Muhammad, some others Christians, and some Jewish religion, the greatest part of which people are thought to be descended from Ham, the cursed son of Noah, except the Arabians of lineage of Shem, which afterwards passed into Africa. Yada, yada, yada. You guys can read that book. All right, now here's one other one. Watch this. This is page 6, but it's kind of weirded out. It's like chapters. You guys got to find it. All right, it says here, right here. It says, all which opinions and reports are to be understood only of the original of the Tani people. Okay. Here, let me let's start right here. All which opinions and reports are to be understood only of the original of the Tani people, that is to say, the Nubians and barbarians. Here it goes, guys. For all the Negroes or blackamoors are descendants of Cush. Let me read it again. For all the Negroes or blackamoors are descendants of Cush. Okay? Then it says, the son of Cam or Ham, who was the son of Noah. But whatsoever difference between the Negroes and the Tani Moors, certain it is that they all have one beginning. This is a black man saying this in 1490. Okay? For the Negroes are descendant of the Philistines, and the Philistines of the Mizraim, and some of Cush. But the Tani Moors fetched their pedigree from the Sabians, and that is evident that Saba was begotten of Ramah, which was the eldest son of Cush. Diverse other opinions there be as touching this matter. Remember the colon, which because they seem not so necessary, following up with another list, we have purposely omitted. All right.
Shalom, coming back with another video. I just want to touch on these subjects that the Israelites like to go over to try to prove Native Americans and Hispanics, our people. I'm going to the scriptures where they go to. 2nd Israel 13 and 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, who Salmonelsa, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so they came into a lot of land. So they try to prove this and make it seem like they came to America, which they didn't. They still in Africa. These people don't read, man. I mean, this it's just simple and plain, man. If people don't get this stuff, man, the Most High just ain't showing you. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would lead the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a far country where never mankind dwelt, which is still in Africa. Y'all know how big it is in Africa. It's a lot of places that ain't nobody been to in Africa yet, man. There's a lot of places still over there ain't never mankind dwelt over there. That's how big the land is. That they may keep their statues, but they never kept in their own land. And they enter into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and hell stood the flood till they were passed over. And this part right here is finna kill them. Watch this. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Azareth. Then dwelt they there until the latter times. Until the latter times now. Peep that, until the latter times. The Most High hell stood the flood for them until the latter times. And now when they shall begin to come, that the highest, it's talking about the Most High, that the highest shall stay springs of the stream again. That means he gonna hell flood, he gonna hold the water again like he did. We'll see what spring is. We don't want to miss nothing. I mean, it's just so easy, man. The Most High just gotta show you. Mean leap, fly back, or move. Springs mean move. He gonna move the water again. That's what it means. A small, narrow river. He gonna move the small, narrow river again that they may go through. So by the Israelites' logic, that means the Native Americans and the Hispanics got to get back on the boat and go back to Africa. By their logic, if Native Americans and Hispanic Israelites, that means they got to get back on the boat and go back. Because verse 47 say the highest is talking about the Most High shall stay the springs. That mean hold back. The springs mean hold back, or the stream mean water, a narrow river. Again, that mean he gonna do it again, that they may go through. Therefore, size thou the multitude with peace. So I don't know what they get out of this. What do it say that they came to America? Verse 47 says the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again. That means he gonna hold for the water again. That they may go through. That they gonna go through. That's in Africa. Man, I don't know how these people miss over this, man. What verse in this said came to America? Verse 47, it debunked all that, man. Verse 47, they go through 40 through 45 or something like that, or 46, but they don't want y'all to read, verse 47. When they say the highest shall stay springs of the stream again, they don't want y'all to read that. That mean he gonna do it again. So that mean if Native American Israelite, Hispanic Israelite, them goddamn mixed Spaniards, Israelites, that mean they gotta get back on the boat and go all the way back to Africa. Because the Most High said he gonna bring them through there again. Shalom, I'm out, man. I just wanted to put that out there. That people they just jump right over 47. Like the Most High said he ain't gonna bring them through the water again. That same water they the northern tribe ran through the first time, he gonna bring them back again the second time. You're just saying the same thing, man. Shalom.
Okay, so you guys heard him. Oh shoot, my bad. You guys heard him, okay? And because of One West, that's pretty much where we stand, right? Just based on that, maybe he makes sense, maybe not, right? I don't know how some people feel about it, but let's start it. Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 29, and it reads, "The secret things belong unto the Lord our God." It said our God. But those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we as a people may do all the words of this law. So regarding the secrets and doing all the words of the law is also teaching the history of who we are, where we came from, how we migrated, all of that. Okay? Psalms 25. Psalms 25, chapter 14, it reads, "The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant." So what's one of them? What's one of the covenants? Deuteronomy 4:13. Watch what it reads. It says, "And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even the 10 commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stones," meaning there was more than 10 commandments, right? It wasn't just 10. Those were the main, like the predominant ones, in a sense, for lack of better words. So it says, "And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform." Right? So what is requiring of us to perform the covenant? Obviously, applying the laws, statutes, and commandments, but we're also supposed to teach our children these things, right? So what do we teach them? Job 8:8. And it reads, For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age." So we're supposed to teach our children the laws, but we're also supposed to teach them about the Bible and the history of it and our forefathers and what they achieved, their failures and their achievements. "And prepare thyself to search of their fathers." Okay? So, and then that's actually told several times throughout the scriptures. Deuteronomy 32:17. Watch what it reads. "They sacrifice unto 32:7. It reads, "Remember the days of old. Consider the years of my many generations." Remember that, okay? "Ask thy fathers, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee." Well, if we keep doing that, that means we were already keeping the laws. So as of right now, we need to go back into our forefathers and find out more about them. What exactly is this mean, right? Especially this topic of like just the second Esdras, right? So now let's go to Amos. I'm going quick because I want to make sure I do this class quick, okay? Because I was earlier online. Amos 7:11, and it reads, "For thus Amos saith, Jeroboam shall die by the sword." Wait, is this what I'm looking for? Oh yeah. "For thus Amos saith, Jeroboam shall die by the sword, and Israel shall surely be led away captive out of their own land." Okay, so now we see in Amos that prophesying in regards to, or that we were going to be taken out of our own land, meaning the 12 tribes, right? So now here's where we start seeing what happened. So let me kind of run it by real quick, so at least we can get to the point of Arsareth, because this topic is pretty standard and pretty simple. Okay, I'm going to show you guys some maps, and then You guys pretty much, discern it and study it yourselves as well. Here's where it starts. 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 5. It reads, Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and began and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Syria and placed them in Halah and in the harbor by the river of Gazan in the cities of the Medes. Okay. Now that's over there about like Persia Medes, like further in. So let's check it out. Look, the city of the Medes, right? City of Medes. City of Medes location. City of Medes. Let's see. Where's the city of Medes? Empire. Oh, yellow. All of this, I'm sorry, I didn't even see it. So all of this is yellow, the Medes. Okay. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up into Samaria and besieged it 3 years. And in the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah. Okay, well, we don't see Halah here. Let's see what we can. Where is Halah in the Bible? So we see that. Oh, that's not going to help. Well, maybe here. Bible Atlas. Halah. Okay, so you see where Halah is, guys? Right there, okay? So they took us right around that area. All right. All right. So let me put this down real quick. We may need it later. Okay, so let me read it again. In the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel into Assyria, placed them in Halah and in the harbor. Okay, we saw that, right? Watch this. It says Halah in the harbor. Right? See? Halah in the harbor, map area. Okay. Harbor River. So around this area here. Okay. All right. So now let's go to 2 Chronicles 6:36. And then verse 22, and it reads, Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, this is after the Assyrians. The Persians then took over and conquered the Assyrians, or, beat them, right? That the word of the Lord spoke by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it also in writing and saying, Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth had the Lord God of heaven given me, and he had charged me to build him a house, Jerusalem, which is in Judah, who is there among you of all people. The Lord, that his God be with him, let him go up. Now remember, keep in mind that Cyrus was a Zoroastrian. So why would the Most High stir up his spirit? And why would he believe it? That's a hell of a question. I mean, honestly, right? What does that mean? Let me give you guys something real quick. I have a book called Eclipsis, Volume 1. Okay. And I'm going to show y'all something. You guys can actually read it. This book here. If you look at versions, watch. Hopefully it doesn't log me out because it's going to ask me to log on. And honestly, I don't want to have to log on. All right. So anyhow, in this book, you guys can read it. Okay. It shows and shares that Cyrus was a relative of Abraham. So let me see if I can get the book. Hold on. I'm going to show you something. Okay. Real quick here. Second, guys. Give me a second. I'm going to .org. Maybe I could get it here. Okay, here we go. Yep, there it goes right here. Okay, so let me go and do this one. All right, watch this. Versions. It's going to say it a lot. Now, I'm not trying to segue from the topic. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that there was a lot going on in that time, and a lot of the, I guess you could say, a lot of the migrations, tribes, they were pretty much, somewhat relatives. Now, you also had obviously Ishmael and Elam in that area, but watch this. Version of the church are described. Let me see here. Let's see right here. No, this isn't it. Let's see. Here, I'll do this. Let me do it this way. Hey, bro. See, all of this mattered, guys. That's what I'm showing y'all. All of this mattered. Obviously, the Most High. There's a reason. Nobody was able to ever answer me. Why did God go give Cyrus, put it in his spirit? Like, why? If he wasn't an Israelite, okay? But no one was able to answer me that question. So obviously, I had to, answer my questions, because there was really nobody available to answer them, and even if there was, they weren't able to. And this is what I found. Excuse me. Let's see. I think this one. No. This is a great book, by the way. You guys should consider reading it. Earliest story with Abraham, Sarah. Let me see. Maybe it's here. Abraham, Moses. Peruvians believe in one supreme being. This is basically talking about how the similarities. Yeah, and I touched on it on another class. But I'm trying to show you guys something here. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, no, that's not it. Oh, here goes. All right, here goes. We know that the religion of the Magi did become corrupted, and it was reformed before the time of Cyrus and Daniel by a man called Zoroaster or Abraham Zoroaster. Okay, so now what these guys are saying is that the Persians, look, there seems no doubt that this king and priest was the religion of the Persians, of Brahma, of Mithra, and of Abram, as professed at this time. Okay. Now it says here, let me see this one. Where are you? Still calling Ishka was the name of both Sarah and his wife. Jesus. No. Anyways, look, guys, honestly, if you guys can really look through this book, and it's going to show you, it's going to say that these guys, the Persians, they know that they come from Abraham. Okay. So I'm trying to look for the page, and it's going to be a while because honestly, it's a lot of pages, and I wasn't thinking of showing this. Let's see, maybe here. Okay, maybe not here. Let's try this one. This last one. If not, I'm gonna move on. The whole of the Jews were circumcised because they were said to have been a priestly nation, and if the history of Abraham can be believed, the Jews, probably so called, were all descendants of the Chaldean Brahmin, and of 318 persons said to be bred in his own house. That's weird. And who probably constituted of the whole tribe or high caste tribe who had come with him from India. I mean, look, look through the book, guys, honestly, and you're gonna find out that the Persians know that they come from them. Okay, so now we got at least one answer in regards to why in the world did God choose Cyrus to get to free the Israelites? Okay, well, it was all prophetic, obviously. So now let's go to verse 23. I think I read it. I'll read it again. Does say, yeah, I did. No, let me read it. Thus say Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth had the Lord God of heaven given me. See that? And he had charged me to build him an house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? The Lord his God be with him, and let him go up. Now, when would the Most High allow some heathen to do that? Well, we now know that they were relatives of Abraham. Okay? So now, since we are now so-called free to go, okay, let me go to First Ezra just to show you to confirm. It says here, now is the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, thus say Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven had given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he had charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Okay. So now it says, who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build house of the Lord. Go out to the Lord of Israel. He is the God. Wow. Which is in Jerusalem. Remember, this guy was a Zoroastrian, right? And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourned, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts, besides the free will offerings for the house of the God that is in Jerusalem. Okay, so now we see that Cyrus allowed them to go. Something moved Cyrus' spirit, but it seems like Cyrus was related to Abraham. Okay, so now let's go to Second Ezra, chapter 13. Okay, verse 40. And it reads, those are the 10 tribes who were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. Okay, so now let me show you a map real quick. Show you the map. Where is it? The world. I think it's this one. Okay.
Shalom,
That's
shalom,
not
coming
it.
back.
What am I talking about? Let's see, like that. Oh, I know why that happened. Okay, cool. So as you can see, it says here, I'm going to put it to the side. It says, verse 41, verse 40, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. Okay, now let's stop right there, because it says, but they took his counsel. So he took them into another land where? We found out when. We found out where. He took them somewhere around there, right? This is an old map, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to use this map too. Oh, please don't tell me you're going to freeze on me. Okay, cool. Sorry, guys. It's a little tricky map. I got to move very slow. Okay. So he took them there. Okay. Right there. And he carried them over the waters, meaning this here. Okay. And so they came into another land. Okay. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. It's a little difficult. I just want to make sure that we get the good view. All right. So now they're over here. They're right here. Okay. Try to, how do I flip it up? Okay. It's a little difficult, man, but I'm trying to figure it out. All right. So they're right there. And here's the Euphrates. Okay. Now, it says, but they took this counsel among themselves. When? After Cyrus had given the decree to free the Israelites, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen. Where? Right there. The multitude here, wherever they were. Because, I mean, keep in mind, he might have taken them here, but that doesn't mean he kept them there. They're slaves. He could take them anywhere else. Plus, if you guys remember, you have this area in a map which had Joktan right here. That was called Joktan. If you guys don't remember, there's a map that I have. And for the sake of time, I don't want to look for it because I have this in my mind here to make sure that we get through it. Okay? But it basically says that. Peleg and Joktan, all of that. Okay? But they took his counsel among themselves after Cyrus had freed them, all right? That they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So now, they're right here, okay? Persia was ruling. Here, I'll show you guys. Persia. Empire. Look, Persia literally covered all of this. Okay? And the 12 tribes are well, the 10 tribes are right there. You see what I'm saying? They were right here. All right? So let's go back now. It says, but they took his counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude. Which multitude? This multitude, wherever it would have been here. Remember, it's all under Cyrus's territory, okay? Now, the Assyrians, I'll show you the Assyrian, well, I think at time it won't, but the Assyrians were less, okay? You guys can look it up. The Assyrians were conquered like up until this point. So when Cyrus took over, he said, hey, where you guys are at, you guys can stay there. You guys can go wherever you want. So obviously, they're saying, well, you know what? They took their counsel among themselves. That doesn't overnight. That took years. It had to take years because the Bible is like that. You know, one verse can go to another verse, and all of a sudden, it's like a couple, like 100 years maybe at times, or maybe more. So you know, you got to be mindful that what were they sojourning? They took but they took this counsel among themselves. That means they had time to think about what they wanted to do. So if they were already free, they obviously weren't just staying here. They were maybe migrating somewhere around in this area of the Persian power, because this is where it gets really sick and sickening and ignorant, is when they say, the one West says, oh yeah, they took the Euphrates and went through Africa all the way around, like all the way this way. You're telling me that why would you do that? Why would you go all the way around? Euphrates River goes this way, and then you're going to go around that way on boats? Come on, man. It makes no sense. But what does make sense is this right here. Hold on. Let me get a different map because this is really... Hold on, guys. Let me see. Where you at? Let me try this map. Maybe this map will work a little bit. And check out the website. Oh no, that's not the map. I'm gonna show you that one in a little bit. Let's see this one. No, I'm gonna show you that one a little bit too. Well, let me just get that one because honestly, I'm gonna waste time looking for another example. I'll do my best to control it. Okay. So anyhow, it just doesn't make sense, and I don't see how there could be massive amount of boats that would be able to just do that. Okay. So why would we go that route? It makes no sense. All right. Now let's continue. It says here, so it says, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Another thing, mankind was already dwelling in Africa. And this kid that was saying, oh, well, you know, Africa's so big. No, come on, man. There's maps that show. And look, remember the Egyptians, the Canaanites, the Cushites? What do you think they were? So plus, on top of the fact that If they're free to go in the Persian Empire, why would they go to another empire so then they can be enslaved? No, that would make no sense. So the only way this would make more sense would be a further country where never mankind dwelt. Well, at that time, there wasn't really not many people traveling through these areas. I mean, there were some kingdoms, but not many. And then from proof of the fact that we see a lot of relative, like similar customs, similar names in Mexico and South America, where the people in India, like the Raramuri. Oh, here, I'll show you guys in case you guys haven't seen it. This is a trip. Now, I'm not saying, all I'm saying is we traveled through there. So it makes sense that we would have gone that way. Watch this. Raramuri of Chihuahua. Sorry, Chihuahua. I think that's how you spell it. Oh, my bad. I was off. All right. So look, watch this. These are images, right? You can see this here. Look at this. I don't know what was that. Watch right here. Okay, I get. Oh, here it goes. See, this is the Raramuri of Chihuahua. Well, watch this. The Ramuri of Shivava. Look at that. Boom. The Raramuri of Chihuahua, the Ramuri of Shivava. Now, again, what this means is that we had to have traveled to those areas. Plus, remember, it says Joktan in the other map. Let me see if I can get it. Hold up. Map. Joktan, here it goes. Okay, this is more of a newer map. And you see it says here Joktan, Jokton, like Yucatan, Arfashad, Persia, Elam. You see? This was their kingdom. All of this was their kingdom. Okay? So the 10 tribes would have more likely gone this way for security purposes because of the Persian Empire understood that they were free. Okay? So obviously, as we were walking through, a good chance that we would have picked up some customs. Then it says here that they made that. Let's see, but they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statues, which they never kept in their own land. Okay, meaning in Jerusalem, because we're falling off. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow place, right? This place here. Narrow place of the river. For the Most High then showed them signs and still healed the waters. All right, so now this is where it gets tricky. Okay, so they go here. Oops. All right, here goes. I'm getting a little better. So they go here. So they pass the Euphrates River, and then God shows them signs, and they say to a further country where never mankind dwelt. So watch this, guys. If you go further into this map, you pass India, you pass China, and then you deal with like an area called Tartary. These guys came later, by the way. But then you see this, Arsareth. Okay. Then you see Arsareth right here. All right. The same thing you see here. Now watch what this one says. Arsareth. 4 Esdras capítulo 13. Isio tribuil se fore Totarorum. Yeah, it's Italian. Tartoro, Scaith. They're just mentioning like places, people that the Scythians right here, Tartary or Tartar, the Syria, the area, look, Tartary, right? Remember, this is a later book, later map, not that in the times of, because we left, first of all, Assyria conquered us in about 700 BC. We left we left then about 535, 538 BC, give or take. So this is way later. And but here we understand that it's called Arsareth. Now I don't know what it would be called at that time, right? But that's the understanding of it. Now, when we look at this, this makes more sense because as we keep reading further, watch what happens. For the Most High then showed them signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. So are we talking about the Strait of the Anian or the Barren Strait? Now, we were told that, oh, yeah, it's because, the ice melted or the ice froze. But, when we left Exodus, he also opened the namely a year and a half, and the same region was called Arsareth, same region. So what's a region? Okay, so watch this. I'm going to get my Webster's Dictionary 1828 book. Watch what it says. Region. Region means a tract of land or space of indefinite extent, usually a tract or considerable extent. It is sometimes nearly synonymous with country, sometimes with country. It says the inhabitants of a region or district, right? A part of the body. So it says here, for through that country was a great way to war. I'm sorry, for the Most High then showed them signs for them, and still held the flood till they were passed over. For through that country was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the same region, meaning the same section, right, is called Arsareth. So if the entrance of Arsareth is here, and he held the floods for us, then it would only make sense that he would hold the flood for us there. It's about a 50-mile walk. I mean, excuse me. Not a 50-mile walk, but it's 50 miles. Okay? Now watch what this says. This is another map. More colorful. Look. It's the same one. 4 Esdras, capítulo 13. Tribus Sephirah, I guess. Oh, Zephyrat, or I don't know what it says. Something like that. Totaroru. I don't know what. But look. Strito di Anian. So again, for through that country was a great way to go. Which way? All the way this way. All the way this way. So now he holds the water for us. For through the Most High showed him signs and held still the waters, right? So here he held the waters out. When we were walking, he's showing us the signs. And then it goes, for through that country was a great way to go. Namely, a year and a half in the same region is called Arsareth, because there's a great space to walk through. Right? If Arsareth is here, give me a second. Arsareth is right here. Here's the entrance of Arsareth. So it would make sense, so close, why the Most High would hold still the waters, and why it was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, because you consider the length from here to here, and then all the travel to America, all the way down to where we started migrating, mostly here. Okay, and here's why. Verse 46. Then dwelt they there until the latter times, and now when they shall begin to come. Whoa, let me read it again. Then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. Watch this. Okay. The highest shall stay the springs, meaning hold the waters of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude of peace. So the only way that this scripture makes sense for us is, first of all, you got to understand Arsareth is here. So we could not have gone first. And okay, so Arsareth is here. All right. He held the waters, and then he held the waters again. Now, are we going to go back into our land in this way? I can't call that right now. As far as I know, the Messiah is going to return. Right? That's something that I can dig into. But as far as my understanding from what we're sharing here right now, that we didn't take no boats around Africa. Okay? That's stupid, because that takes forever to go around. Plus, that region, right? This was conquered by other countries, other people. They would have enslaved our people. Our people aren't dumb. We would have at least made sure not to go that way. If anything, we go this way. Because why? Because no one ever dwelt in these lands. And if they did, very minimal. Plus, we would have protection all the way up to this point. And then we go up here. That is not that far. Now, the great way to go, that's pretty far. So when the Most High holds the waters, that rock right there, if you're going to walk from the top of America, from Alaska, all the way down to South America, that's about a year and a half. Okay? And then on 47, it says, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. And you know that it's not, I mean, this is not a stream, but it's a river. It's pretty big. It's part of a sea. Okay? So now, let me go to Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 17. So we can get an idea as to if it's prophetic that we were going to come here in the first place. It is. Look, watch. It says, his glory is like the firstlings of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of the unicorn. This is the tribe of Ephraim, okay? With them he shall push the people together to the end of the earth. And they are the 10,000 of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh. And Zebulun, he said, rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, and Issachar in thy tents. And it shall call the people unto the mountains. There they shall, okay, watch this. And Zebulun, he shall rejoice. Zebulun in thy going out, and Issachar in thy tent. Okay? And they shall call the people unto the mountain. Now, I was shown, I'll share you with you guys, that Zebulun was the Mayas, and Issachar the Aztecs. And the Issachar was when they sacrificed, they would blow the horn, and Zebulun would come and sacrifice with the Aztecs, or the Mayas with the Aztecs. That's how I was told, okay? As of right now, all I'm showing you is that the 10 tribes were going to be pushed to the end of the earth, okay? Now, Deuteronomy 6 and 8, watch what it reads. Deuteronomy 6 and 8, and it says, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand. And no, that's not it. Revelation. What am I talking about? My God. Sorry, guys. Revelations 6:8. It says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the 4 parts of the earth, the 4th part of the earth, to kill with a sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. Okay? Now, why am I bringing this up? Watch this. This is from a book called Geography Rectified. Give me a second. Watch what he reads right here. Here goes. America is the 4th part. Watch this. According to the greater integrating parts thereof, the ancient divided the whole earth into 3 great parts: Europe, Africa, Asia, and Africa, to which now added a 4th, America. Again, a 4th or 4th part, like Revelation. It says, I'm just going to get to the point. And it was given power, and it was given unto them. Oh, I'm sorry. And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth to kill with swords, and with hunger, and with death. Did they not come from the end of the earth and kill us with the sword? Did they not take away our resources, and now we're being in hunger? Are people dying at the border? Are people dying here too? Our people are poor. So-called illegal immigrants, they can barely make it. They're not getting paid that well. A lot of people pay them less because they know they're not quote legal. And with the beast of the earth, what is that? You know which one? Started 2 or 3 years ago. Are they not? Is this not happening here in this continent? Look, watch. This is from a system geography, a dissertation of creation and various phenomena. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you guys. Tartar or Tartary, right? Tartar. Muscovite, 3 million square miles. But this is a weird part. In Europe, there's 2.7 square miles. Africa 10. I'm sorry, Asia 10, Africa 8, America 9. So how could these guys have 3 million plus 604,000 and about almost 800,000? Almost what? More than 4 million in square mileage. So that means what? What we were looking at earlier. These guys ran all of this here. Tartary. Tarsia. Tart. You see Tartary, I think it's in the other map. Yeah, Tartaria, right? And if this is an entrance, the 12 tribes, look, they're still naming them. America, right? Pars, Nova Ars Pars. I got to look up what that word means. But as you can see, look. See that, guys? So the 10 tribes God held the waters. They crossed over in a year and a half. So it wasn't no necessarily ice like on the floor. It was the Most High. And I know that people won't be able to wrap their minds around it. Look, watch. This is what they say because apparently we came from that region. As for the original of these people, right? It is most probable that they did descend from the Tartars. If so be that the west side of America be continent with Asia, or disjoined by a very small strait, as this described in some maps I just showed you, where Russia was, right? But now Spanish and all of that stuff. It says here, watch this. But their numbers are much wasted since the Spaniards' discovery. For some authors affirm that they put to death about 15 million of the natives in less than 15 years, and that the blood of those that perished in the mines where they were forced to labor weighed more than all the gold and silver drawn from hence. Wow. All of our gente died, and they weighed more than all the gold that these bastards got from us. Anyhow, it's a short class, guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go too deep on this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Let me give you guys one more. Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 7. Why all this then? And for this cause thou hast put fear in thy heart to the intent that we should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity, for we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers that sinned before thee. So this is why all of this is happening. Our job as brethren is to find out and give y'all more answers that can give us a much more clarity. Because for some time we were told that this is who we were, that we were Africans and that we came here. Well, One West needs to teach that in order for us to be the woolly team. But the simple fact is that they're not Israel. We already proven that left and right. I'll give you one example, okay? Look, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. I'm going to show y'all real quick. This is off the topic, but I just want to prove a point. 28, verse 49, and it reads, the Lord shall bring a nation against you from far. Watch this. From far. From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Okay? So, if you guys ruled Europe, you're not far. Okay? From the end of the earth, you're not at the end of the earth. You're right next door. That literally is it's a 2-hour boat ride from here, from this point here to this point there. Okay? Literally. The Lord shall bring a nation against you from far. That's not far. From the end of the earth. That's not the end of the earth. As swift as the eagle flieth. Well, you guys had the eagle. In Granada, you guys had, look at where Granada is. Almost by Africa. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. You guys spoke Spanish, French, Portuguese, Dutch, German, English. What else? Prussian, Russian. How in the world could verse 38:49 even apply? And then you say, well, it wasn't 70 AD. Well, that even makes no sense because it can't be another nation from far from the end of the earth that swift as the eagle flies, maybe the eagle part, but they can't because Rome conquered and he was in charge of Jerusalem. And they knew who they were because even Paul spoke Latin and Greek. And it says a tongue that thou shalt not understand. So however you slice it, One West, you're done. All right? That whole 12 tribe, that 10 tribe that came through Africa, that's a lie. And the only reason y'all did it is just so you could say that we look black. And that's the saddest thing in the world anybody could do. And you know what? Hey, man, the Most High has recorded everything that y'all have been saying and teaching other people wrong and correctly. Quite frankly, this makes more sense. Why? Because why would we go that other route? Why would we go that other route? It makes no sense. And that you would need tons of votes in order to do that. Okay? So, anyways, with all that considered, guys, like I said, it's a short class, man. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go all crazy with this, but other than that, let me play a song for you guys real quick, and then we will call it a night. Give me a second.
Se ve tan mal cuando miras a otro lado, los fantasmas del pasado no se detendrán hasta verte derrumbado. Peores lo hemos pasado. Andaba a golpes con la tristeza, me aportó riqueza, me otorgó sabiduría, pues se dibujaba en todas mis piezas. Yo con alegría le daba color después. La aguja sigue girando, tiempo parece se burlar de mí. Dijo que sanaría esperando, pero creo que la espina aún sigue ahí. Con los dedos no voy palpando, cierro los puños, escapa de aquí. Agonizando, no me espera el tiempo, no voy a esperar por ti. Nuestras huellas en la orilla se han borrado por la marea. Si esas estrellas ya no brillan, las entiendo pa' que veas. Sea donde sea, bajo la tormenta o dentro de la odisea, donde arañas cubren el cielo de tela, los aviones nadan y los barcos vuelan. Hey, aunque parezca que va bien, no sabes bien si va mal. Besos que pueden doler, ojos que pueden matar. Tengo mi alma en el almacén encerrada, mi corazón está en huelga, mis sentimientos en ámbar. Gente, Calamala dijo que estaría presente. Fallaron como nunca, se fueron para siempre. Millones de razones para vengarme, pero a veces duele más actuar indiferente. Como no quieren ver ahogados, tenemos branquias y cerrados los bronquios como la mente de un guardia. Yo soy la montaña y vine con la cordillera. Más cojones que tu ganga tiene una madre soltera. Tú cúbrete si suena mi tu. A mi lado tengo soldados fumando de su palulú. Y un conjuro de grimorio me lo salva del velorio. Pa' tener pila valorio, se matan vestidos de emporio. Yo no quiero una pistola, estoy soñando que la vida que quería me llega a tiempo. Desde que yo la vi sola, loco ando. Vino a verme cuando el sol se estaba poniendo y se dejó una pluma y se perdió en la bruma. Nunca se despidió de mí, nunca se despidió de mí. Vivo en un mundo que parece roto y sé que no, porque todo es perfecto y lo debo plasmar. Me fumo un trocolor tras otro y lo veo todo otro color. Me siento libre porque vuelvo a conectar. Mi gente sufre y no lo puedo evitar. arda y por dentro la llama, no puedo contener la ras. Churruscao el corazón, el armazón no puede llegar a pesarme más. Si abro la boca, tu tumba al suelo, me muelo a diario y sobrado de gas. Escupo ristas perfectas, paladas de versos eternos, no mueren jamás. Cuando acabe mi condena, me vi muy solo y perdido. Cada vez más negra la flema, más elegante el problema, pero planté cara a todos mis enemigos. Recuperé las ganas, las fuerzas y el garbo. Dedico requiems a mis diablos, que aquí estoy vivo de milagro. Delicadas flores crecieron entre los cardos. Me dicen bien, es más delgado que de costumbre. Será de tanto que he bailado en el alambre, que a tanta pena es mejor no ponerle nombre. Llevamos la música en vena, nuestra sangre.
Declaraciones.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.